Heidi, welcome back. Well, I said it coming into the show today, and I said it yesterday. Yesterday, I said, the future looks bright for restaurant owners in New York. Why? Every time a sexual accuser comes out, Andrew Cuomo tries to defeat that by coming out with good news and raising the occupancy. It went from 25 to 35, then it went from 35 to 50. And I said, by the end of the week, we may be at 100 if a few more accusers come out. Today, we rolled the bones, and lucky number 7 came out. Not so lucky for Andrew Cuomo. He's on air right now in a phone call, because he can't even look the press in the eye, saying why he's still not going to resign, with now yet a 7th accuser who is alleging that his hands were all over her to the point where she didn't want to go to events for her work. And to break it down, America's psychiatrist, the only person that could possibly break into my brain, Dr. Carole Lieberman, joins us right now. Doc, it's almost, I don't understand how someone can look themselves in the mirror and say, I'm doing the right thing by not resigning. I just don't understand it.
Well, it's called denial, and it's called, I'm in so deep already, you know, I'm in bad shape, so I might as well just keep denying it. If there are 10 people who come out or 20 people, they're gonna have to take a hook, you know, like in vaudeville, they're gonna have to bring out the hook and literally take him off the stage.
It was like, I don't know if you remember way back, there used to be a show called Showtime at the Apollo. And it was like a lot of amateur acts would get up on the stage, and if the fans didn't like you, they'd basically shout you off. Had a guy who came out the sweeper. He had a broom and he like swept you. Maybe they got to send in the sweeper for him. But let me ask you this. I had another noted person with some good knowledge of psychology and psychiatry on yesterday. And they were adamant that there will be many more, because he's been in office for so long. People that usually act like this, the pattern becomes serial. And as people who had a deeper affliction than a wrong word or a badly placed hand, people that were touched, grabbed, and stuff, will get empowered by seeing other women, so that not only will the frequency go up, but the allegations may heighten.
Yes, I would agree with that. You know, especially the way that he has been reacting to these accusations. Like, really, he doesn't think it's any big deal, you know? And I mean, aside from in his political career, it's just in general, like, really, did I do that? You have a problem with that? You know, so yes, I think there are.
You didn't say anything when I first did it. What's wrong with you? Why didn't you just tell me not to put my hand down the back of your pants?
Right. It's their fault. You know, the other thing that's going to make more people come out is that when some women, where he did do something to them, the other women getting all the attention, they're going to want to come out and get the media attention as well.
Do you remember this song?
Open up, man. You just caught me. Better catch you. I don't know how this happened. The girl next door, you know?
It's called Wasn't Me by an artist named Shaggy. And in the video, he's categorically caught being watched with his neighbor by his wife. And he still just keeps telling her, wasn't me. It's like a deny to the end strategy. But it looks like the end is near here.
Well, you know, of course, as horrible as this is, you know, and yes, the more people that come out and the worse the accusations are, as horrible as that is, what I think is we just need to cut all of this short and put him on trial for murder for all the people in the nursing homes. That is so much worse than this. Why is he not being accused of murder? And let's just get this whole thing over with.
Well, even on the murder front, on your allegation, he's saying, you know, we didn't do anything wrong. It wasn't me, my team. You know, my team, they didn't want to share it because we were afraid of Trump. You know, we didn't want to share the numbers. So everywhere you look, it's denial. But if you remember in the beginning of his leadership press conference, he said, no matter what happens in New York, the buck stops here. Like he was emphatic that the buck stops with him, that, you know, he's the leader and now he's pointing at everybody else but him.
Yes, yes. And it's so interesting how de Blasio, who's another, you know, the two of them together have destroyed New York. It's so interesting how de Blasio is now coming out against him because for his own political, you know, to try to make himself look not as bad.
Well, I think de Blasio, he has his moment in the sun here because 70% of New York City residents hate him, right? Mm-hmm. But I would say 90% of New York City residents are actually in agree with him on this issue that Cuomo must go. Everywhere I look, everywhere I turn, even Democrats are just like, right. Oh man, enough already with the murders, with the sex, and like, why is he distracting our state?
Yes, yes. Instead of paying attention to what's been happening in New York, I mean, the crime in New York is just every day, it gets more and more outrageous. There are no bounds anymore. People are just not afraid anymore. You know, something the other day, I'm sure you saw this, on the street, a man walks up to a young guy on a scooter and just starts a fight and knifes him. I mean, there's something like this every day. It's not even news anymore.
I was joking yesterday and said that, you know, Baskin Robbins is in sight for him right now. If he gets to 31 women allegations, he could have as many flavors as Baskin Robbins. But it sure seems like I'm looking at it. There's a pattern. If you look at the women, you know, ages are a little different, but they're all kind of within a, you know, Anglo, light complexion.
Yes, they all look alike. Is that what you're trying to?
Yeah, well, I got to dance around it, Doc. You can't say anyone all looks alike because
I know.
Saying, but there is to me, a pattern of what the victim's appearances are.
Yes, when you see them, you know, in the paper or on television, you know, the pictures next to each other, it is so clear. It's like they're sisters. Yes, and I think I've told you that I was born and bred in New York, so these things mean a lot to me. I may be in California right now, but really my heart is still in New York, and so all of this just makes me really sick.
Well, thank God you still have some New York in you, and I love. There are not a lot of people, you catch me off guard sometimes because I know you're in Cali and then you come off the top rope with these really conservative red meat issues, which I love. So, you know, it's hard to shock me, Doc. You know, I've been shocked so many times through my treatments over the years. I'm kind of numb to it. Hey, Dr. Carole Lieberman, the last time she was with us, she had to get to some deposition of some big legal stuff, so she cut out a little early. Today, we needed some expertise on this, and she came in right at the last minute for us. Thank you, Doc. You're the best.
Thank you.
Dr. Carole Lieberman is America's psychiatrist. Don't even think twice about that.